Welcome to Optimal Frequency. I'm Grant. Talk to spirits here at my house using a method I developed. I'm going to push this random number generator button 3 times to come up with a topic from the Book of Mysteries, the mysteries you guys have sent me, so that we can go to the sink and talk to the spirits. 1, 2, 3. That was weird. I pushed it the second time and it stayed on 6. So that we can go to the sink and talk to the spirits. 1, 2, 3. I'm assuming the second number was 6. Anyways, the third number, number 5. What do we got here? Number 5. This one. The Sodder children. Now, I didn't note who sent this to me. I'm thinking it might have been Squiffy, but I'm not sure. So we'll investigate the Sodder children. Well, I goofed that. I don't know if you noticed, the random number generator was set for 1 to 10 instead of 1 to 67. So really, it only generated a number between 1 and 10. It was still odd how it stuck on the number 6 there for 2 rolls. But yeah, I should have been doing a bigger range of numbers. So really, when you think about it though, I just gave the oldest 10 mysteries in my Book of Mysteries the chance to get completed, so maybe this is what the spirits wanted. Let's stick with the Sodder children. Sony camera pointed at the wife's computer as usual. You can hear my voice echoing. I've got like 30 questions to ask about this case, this missing Sodder children. Got to do my prayer of protection. I'm going to go with the sugar bowl today. I have written across the top of this page the names of the 5 children that were missing from the Sodder family. Can you say those names, please? And I'll try and hear them when I analyze your voices on the sound of this water. So I think these spirits are going to tell us a story, and it may not be the story that, well, I really don't have any preconceived notions when I do this, but I mean, I held up my sheet of paper with the names on it. I asked them to say the names. I did hear the name Betty from the Sony camera, but they're jumping into something here. You know, they're talking about raping. They were raped. They were choked out. They lost their virginity. I think these spirits are going to tell us what they want to tell us on their terms, and it's not necessarily based on what I'm going to ask them. But if you follow that train of thought, if they're talking about these kids, those kids did not die in that fire. And that's one question I've asked, and I think they're already headed there, that these kids did not die in that fire. On Christmas Eve, December 24th, 1945, a fire destroyed the Sodder residence in Fayetteville, West Virginia. At the time, it was occupied by George Sodder, his wife Jenny, and 9 of their 10 children. During the fire, George, Jenny, and 4 of their 9 children escaped. The bodies of the other 5 children have never been found. The surviving Sodder family believed for the rest of their lives that the 5 missing children survived. In support of their belief that the children survived, The Sodders had pointed to a number of unusual circumstances before and during the fire. George disputed the Fayetteville Fire Department's finding that the blaze was electrical in origin, noting that he had recently had the house rewired and inspected. George and his wife suspected arson, leading to theories that the children had been taken by the Sicilian Mafia, perhaps in retaliation for George's outspoken criticism of the fascist government of his native Italy. Let's get into these questions. We have a lot of them. Did the Sodders have enemies within their community? Were some people angry because of George Sodder's outspokenness against Mussolini? Was the fire started by arson? So this next response makes me think of something I said to Robin the other night. I said, I probably opened a lot of portals in here doing these, potentially, what you want to call a seance. Been here for over 3 years doing this. I said, I've never saged. Don't really feel like I have to sage, but maybe I should sage. It was just a conversation I had on the couch. And then I get this following message, so totally falls in line with what I was talking to my wife about. Was the fire started by electrical failure? Did the Sicilian Mafia have anything to do with the fire and or disappearance of those children? The Sodder family celebrated on Christmas Eve 1945. Marion, who was 19, the oldest daughter, had been working at a dime store in downtown Fayetteville, and she surprised 3 of her younger sisters, Martha, 12, Jenny, 8, and Betty, 5, with new toys she had bought for them as gifts. At 10 p.m., Jenny told them they could stay up a little later as long as the 2 oldest boys who were still awake, 14-year-old Maurice and his 9-year-old brother Louis, remembered to put the cows in and feed the chickens before going to bed themselves. George and the 2 oldest boys, John, 22, and George Jr., 16, who had spent the day working with their father, were already asleep. After reminding the children of those remaining chores, she took Sylvia, 3, upstairs with her, and they went to bed together. The telephone rang at 12:30 a.m. Jenny woke and went downstairs to answer it. The caller was a woman whose voice she did not recognize, asking for a name she was not familiar with the sound of laughter and clinking glasses in the background. Jenny told the caller she had reached the wrong number, later recalling the woman's weird laugh. She hung up and returned to bed. As she did, she noticed that the lights were still on and the curtains were not drawn. 2 things the children normally attended to when they stayed up later than their parents. Did the chickens get fed and the cows brought in for the night? Why were the lights still on and the curtains not drawn by 12:30 a.m.? Were the 5 missing children kidnapped from their house? Okay, so I'm hearing a voice over my shoulder and I heard the word kidnapped. 100% I heard it. When Jenny went downstairs at 12:30, were the children upstairs all in bed still? Did the 5 missing Sodder children burn to death in that house? Jenny, feel free to show yourself on this camera or the other camera. I feel like you want to come through and answer, and I'm getting lots of goosebumps down this arm. Very strong. If you are intrigued by the research I'm doing here and you think that I might actually be onto something, feel free to like, subscribe, and share with your friends who may also enjoy the material. You can check out our Reddit community over on the Reddit page, r/optimalfrequency. If you want to donate like these folks have on the screen, you can use the donate button on the top of the YouTube banner. Every dollar is appreciated. Love, peace, joy, and adventure to all of you. Thanks for hanging out. We'll catch you in the next video.